Okay, so this is gonna be the start of another vlog. Hopefully, I'm doing this on my phone, so hopefully the footage will be okay and the sound will be okay. Because I haven't actually tried doing this on my phone before, but I am in a car. I actually just flew back home. My parents are essentially leasing me this car for a while, so I had to fly back and then I'm going to be driving for the next couple of days. So I have a bunch of audiobooks lined up and I wanted to make a vlog of the experience. And the goal for this one is to read mostly some short things. One of the cards that I drew in a recent, or my most recent TBR video, I'll be sure to link that below. One of the cards that I drew was short reads, and I figured that this would be the perfect opportunity while I am going to be in a car for 2 days to read some short reads and some other stuff as well, but I feel like it would be a good chance to get some short reads in and have that be this vlog. I haven't actually, the two things that I have either listened to or started have not been short, but there will be some short reads in this vlog as well. So I'm just gonna vlog the experience and we'll just count this as a short reads vlog, so that can be ticked off of that TBR. Anyway, so I was flying back yesterday and so I thought it would be fun to listen to The Last Flight. And this is a thriller about two women essentially switching tickets and switching identities in an airport because they both essentially don't want to be on the flight that they're about to be on, and they want to change things at the last minute to hopefully escape. And you're following a couple of women. Claire is trying to escape an abusive husband, and he runs a family foundation essentially. His mom is his senator or former senator, and so he helps run the family foundation. Very rich and powerful family, and basically our main character, or one of our main characters, Claire, wants out, and he has been abusive for a long time, and she sees an opportunity to kind of plan an escape, but some things go wrong with that. And then we also follow a woman named Eva, and Eva sees Claire at the airport. They meet at the airport. And Eva essentially says, I'm trying to, my husband recently died. He had terminal cancer. Essentially, I helped him pass away, and I might be in trouble for that. I need to switch. Like, I'm trying to get out of the situation. And Claire says, I'm trying to get out of the situation too. They decide to switch tickets, and Claire ends up going to California, which is where Eva was going to be flying. And Eva ends up going to Puerto Rico, which is where Claire was originally going to be going. And so when Claire lands in California, she first of all hears that the plane that she was supposed to be on to Puerto Rico, that Eva is now on, has crashed. And she also is kind of stepping into some elements of Eva's life and is figuring out that Eva was not telling the truth and that she was running from more than what she claimed to be running from. And the story kind of goes from there. It was told in dual perspective. I listened to the audiobook as I mentioned. I have a bunch of audiobooks lined up. Listen to the audiobooks. The narrators are fantastic. It's the woman who, one of them is the woman who narrated the Daughter of Smoke and Bone series by Laini Taylor. The other one is the one who is narrated or has narrated the Shadow and Bone series by Leigh Bardugo. Both fantastic narrators. And so you're following Claire trying to figure out what Eve was running from, because things are starting to catch up with her. But she's also trying to run from her old life and make sure that her husband can't find her. And then you also follow Eva's timeline a little bit farther back as she was, why she was running, the real story behind what she was running from. And so you kind of start to unravel more through her perspective, but also through Claire trying to figure some things out. It was super interesting. I had a really fun time with this one. There aren't, a million twists and turns and you're constantly on the edge of your seat. But it was definitely intriguing the whole time, and I really enjoyed getting to know our two characters, getting to understand their motivations, getting to understand why they made the decisions that they did. So I actually finished that one a little bit earlier this morning on my drive, and then I started Get a Life, Chloe Brown by Talia Hibbert, because I just wanted something fun and something that wouldn't take too much to listen to while I'm driving, take too much brain power to listen to while I'm driving. So I have started Get a Life, Chloe Brown. I'm only on the 4th chapter, but I'm already really adoring it. I love the writing. I think it's funny. I already really like our main character, Chloe, and I'm interested to get to know Red. And this one follows a woman with fibromyalgia, some chronic pain, and she has recently moved out of her parents' house after seeing an accident. A car accident happened right in front of her, and she fortunately was able to get out of the way, but the accident happened right where she had just been standing. And so, she kind of has some realizations, sees some things flash before her eyes, so to speak, and she wants to make a list to get a life and kind of not live her life so scripted. And so she makes a list of things that she wants to do. And one of those was move out. So she has recently moved out of her parents' house and wants to kind of make it on her own. And so I've just started that, and I'm looking forward to continuing. I will check in later once I've read more of Get a Life with Chloe Brown. Good morning. It is a few days later. I'm obviously not in my car anymore, but I did make it back. I just didn't check in the next day. I just was not feeling fabulous the next day. Just didn't check in. But I wanted to catch you up on the rest of what I read while I was driving. I tried to stick to short reads. I think Get a Life, Chloe Brown was the one thing that I read that wasn't a short read. And I'm continuing to do this on my phone, so if the quality is not as good as my normal camera, then that would be why. Anyway, so I think the last time I checked in, I had started Get a Life, Chloe Brown. Just chilling with some coffee here while I chat. And I ended up really adoring this. So I gave a general synopsis of what it was about. So I say enemies to lovers. There's not really a reason given for why she doesn't like Red, why Chloe doesn't like the other main love interest. She moves into the building at the beginning of the book, and it's just established that she doesn't like him for some reason. Like, he's just like a happy person and she resents him for it. That's like the extent of the development there, which is fine. I think most enemies to lovers don't really establish why they don't like each other very well, or if they do that too well, then you don't root for them as a couple. But anyway, it's a hard balance. But this one mostly just focuses on Chloe going through her list, and Red runs into her when she's rescuing a cat from a tree, and things start to turn around from there in terms of how they interact, and she just ends up really liking him, and their relationship is so precious. They're so cute. I really, really liked their dynamic a lot, and I really just liked how caring and supportive they were of each other and everything they had gone through, and it was really, really sweet. So that I finished at the end of the first day of driving. The second day of driving, I listened to The Test by Sylvain Neuvel. This is a very short, like 2-hour audiobook. I mean, all of these are short, but this one was really short. And this one I really, really liked. I very, very quickly came to care about our main character and his family. So this one follows, I'm not going to say much about the plot because, again, it's very short, but this one follows our main character taking a British citizenship test. And all I'll say is the citizenship test is not what it appears to be. And so you're finding out more and more about this test as he's going through it and answering questions, and as some traumatic events are unfolding. And that's all I'll really say. It was definitely a wild ride. It was definitely very interesting. There are some very interesting conversations that are packed into this very short novella, And I definitely really appreciated some of those conversations and how Sylvain Neuvel was able to just integrate little conversations here and there. I mean, obviously, the goal isn't to go in depth with a novella. I mean, it's not like he's going to explore those through a lot of character development over the course of a novel, but he was able to integrate some interesting conversations into a short time, and at least made me care about these characters in a very, very short amount of time. So very, very entertaining. The next thing that I read was the second book in the Murderbot Diary series. I'll put an image here because I don't remember the name of the second one in particular, but I really, really like this one. I love the Murderbot Diary series so far. I'm listening to the third one right now, and I'm just really adoring this. So this one, so they do actually follow the events, or the second one does actually follow the events of the first one, and the third one follows the events of the second one. That was one thing I wasn't sure of when I was going through these, was whether these would be kind of episodic things or whether you needed to read the first one in order to read the second one. But you do, and so I'm not going to say too much about the plot of this one because, as I just mentioned, it follows the plot of the first one. But in this one, I'll just say, so Murderbot is a genderless, sexless rogue AI, anyway, that can be hired out for security purposes on contract. And so you kind of follow Murderbot's adventures as they're hired out for security. And in this one, Murderbot needs to go to a particular place in order to do some research on a past event in their life. And so in order to get transport, one way to do that is to be on contract and kind of have an employment contract that allows you to travel to those places. So he agrees to a security contract with a group of researchers who are going to confront their, kind of someone that's helping control their research and is trying to stifle their research. And they're ultimately going to have a meeting with that person, and it's a very precarious situation. They all know that it's a very precarious situation from the start, but they hire Murderbot for security, and of course things go wrong, and Murderbot's trying to deal with that while also trying to do what they were originally going to do in terms of doing the research for more information about this past event. It's just delightful. It's funny. It's entertaining. Of course, there can't be too much that goes on in one novella, but I really like that it's just, I think they don't try to do more than what I would expect them to do in terms of it just being a novella. Like, it's a very, it's short and sweet, it's entertaining. I think what it's intended to do, or what it's trying to do, it does very, very well. And I had such a good time with this one. The final book I read was Leave the World Behind, and this one did not end up being for me. I didn't like this one as much as I had hoped I would, but this one follows a white family who is renting an Airbnb outside of New York City, and they get to the Airbnb. The first part of the book is just them, going through the motions of a typical vacation, I guess. They're hanging out at the house, they're hanging out at the pool, they're just relaxing, and late on the first night, the second night, whatever, the owners of the Airbnb come to the house and say, there's been a blackout in New York City, can we stay here? We don't feel safe being in the city. And anyway, so it's a black couple that owns this Airbnb, so there are definitely some interesting conversations that happen there throughout the book, and it's this couple trying to decide, it's this family trying to decide if they should let this couple who owns the Airbnb stay with them, even though they've rented it out to them, and trying to figure out what's going on with this blackout, trying to figure out what to do or find out more information. It's very difficult to find out more information. And just, some creepy and unsettling things start to happen. And I think if this just wasn't what I expected it to be, and I had hoped that it would be a bit faster paced than it was, that there would be a few more twists and turns than there were. but it was a very, very slow book. Very slow book, very tedious. The writing style wasn't my favorite. It wasn't really something that I connected with. And, again, I think the main accomplishment in terms of the writing was just like a general sense of unease throughout the book. But that's not what I was hoping to get out of this. I mean, I was hoping to have a sense of unease, but I was also hoping for a bit more thrilling, or hoping for some more thrilling elements throughout the story. And I didn't like can you call it an ending? I didn't like the ending. And I'm not going to say more about that because I don't want to go into detail. But it just wasn't for me, which is unfortunate. Anyway, so that's what I read while I was driving back. And I also listened to, I think, like half of the third, or part of the third Murderbot, and I'm about halfway through the third Murderbot Diaries novella right now. And then I think I'm going to read maybe one or two more things that are short. I haven't been reading, up until that point, had not been reading very much. In July, I've been very distracted and busy this month, and so just haven't read much. So this is kind of the kick I needed to get some reads in, and so I want to lean into that a little bit. I want to read a few more short things, or at least a couple more short things while the momentum is there. But anyway, I will check in later. Okay, so it has been a couple of days. I finished the third book in the Murderbot Diaries series, and I think it's probably my least favorite of the three so far, but I still really enjoyed it. It's still entertaining. I think I was just laughing less throughout this one for some reason than I was throughout some of the other ones, but still super entertaining and fun. Murderbot is traveling somewhere to get some information for a character in the first novella, actually, and runs into some trouble along his transports or along his way to where he was going. Anyway, still super entertaining and super fun. I think the last thing I might read for this short reads vlog is this right here, Look at the Birdie. These are a series of short stories, or a short story collection by Kurt Vonnegut. My brother actually gave this to me, and I still haven't read it because I'm a terrible sister. So I want to read that. I think the audiobook is on Scribd as well. I have some errands to run today, so I think I might listen to it while I run some errands and see how that goes. Anyway, I will check in later. Okay, so I'm here for a final check-in for my short reads, or mostly short reads, reading vlog. And I did finish up Look at the Birdie by Kurt Vonnegut. Again, this is a collection of short stories that were actually originally, I guess, it says unpublished short fiction, so I guess this was published after he passed away. But, and I don't know, it was not for me, which isn't terribly surprising. I didn't suspect that short stories, especially contemporary ones, would be a huge hit for me. I do like his writing, I genuinely do, and some of them had interesting concepts that were just very, very short, being a collection of short fiction. And I don't know, just nothing really left an impact. Like, I'm not really gonna remember or think about any of these short stories. Like, nothing really stuck, nothing really got to me in any of the short stories. And I don't know, and that's probably just a me thing. I mean, I tend to love long books and long series to really be able to spend time in a world and spend time with characters and get to know them. So it's not really surprising, but I wanted to at least give it a try because my brother got it for me as a gift, which makes me feel a little bad, but it is what it is. So I just wanted to wrap it up here, some ups and some downs throughout this vlog, but that's okay. This will probably be the first vlog I actually end up editing and publishing, even though this was definitely not the first vlog that I started. In fact, I think this is the third vlog that I've started this summer. but the other ones have been on pause. I'm about to continue my fantasy vlog, but this will be the first one published, even though I'm in the midst of some other ones. But thank you so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe for more bookish content. I'll be sure to leave my Twitter and Instagram link down below. That's where I like to hang out. And I will also link more information about how you can support the Black Lives Matter movement. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.